What's up guys, Barry Game here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we finally got our way to Endless mode on Orson. Now, that's not something everybody's gonna do, because if you just take a look at your leaderboards here, there's probably like 10-ish people, maybe even less on your server that have gotten there, whereas a lot of people are stuck way down in a lower bracket. You can see I used a nice little troll strategy. It's not actually the team I used, but I threw all the celestial hybrids in. I wanted to talk about something specific, because you'll actually notice a lot of people are going in on the resonating, whereas some of the other people are trying this new one for the magic damage, and the team everybody is using is magic damage dealer, magic damage dealer, magic damage dealer. So I'm going to show you guys here today what that looks like. So actually, you know what we should do before we even do that? It's been a couple hours, I think, since I've done my hit. I mean, every little bit of power on your heroes does matter, and let's get this going, because that puts everybody up to 741 breakpoint on here, which is solid. And then we could probably just dump the rest into some of our main damage dealers here, just like that. So that's going to be our squad. Remember, we have a Tailing that is extremely powerful. Paragon 2, granted, people at the very top. Paragon 2 is like their weakest hero, and they have Paragon 3 or Paragon 4 heroes. So comparison time, let's see how this goes, because in reality, I feel like Arcane spell has a very good chance of being worthwhile here, because it has defense penetration and a higher attack value, 17.7 versus 15.5. So let's see how this turns out. This seems to be the way to go with the Tailing and such. Now, Tailing is going to get interrupted a few times when Ormus does his big smash here. That does take her out of using her ultimate, sadly, which is lost time and damage, because of course she's going to then start again with 0 energy to have to build it back up. So you see right there, she does get knocked back and even stunned, and then she has to slowly build this energy back up. Then she's able to go once again with her ultimate. So this seems really, really solid. I love it, but I want to try out a couple different artifacts, because for some reason, I feel like at least with our team, we might be able to do something better than the resonating spell here. I think Lily May is probably still going to be the top damage dealer, I think. In this situation. Ulsa is just really, really cool in this position too. I've tried a few different teams so far. None of them have really gone crazy or anything. You need the healing from the Mikola. That's one thing that's super important. I have seen some people, I think, using like a Smokey though, which is like an interesting strategy here. I think that's really, really cool to be able to do that. I do know other people are also using a Festo, and I want to show you that Festo team, because this is going to be really weird without the Tailing. I mean, I always try to use the Tailing here. That's like my go-to. But I've seen some people even use Festo. Yes, Festo has been someone that people have been using. Now, I just want to do a one-to-one comparison real quick with Arcane spell. I feel like Arcane spell has the potential to be better, but then again, we don't really know just yet what the best Endless teams are going to be. As we get more levels in this Endless game mode, our damage numbers are just going to go through the roof, and you might not even need to use as many support heroes, which is kind of a cool thing. That's one thing I like about late season, is like the amount of resources you need to dump into the support heroes becomes less and less, and you can go more and more in on the damage dealers. But you see here, it's not proccing all that often here. We're not doing a ton of magic damage to him to proc this stuff, it seems like. And it might just be because having 3 attacking heroes is not the best with this one, because I think you have to get to, what, 750% of your total attack for this to go off. And if it's not going off very often, it's not adding a whole lot to our attack. So as much as I love this one, it's really cool. There are windows where it's going to do a crazy amount of damage. However, if you have too many people doing damage on your squad, that ends up being a negative, it feels like. So we'll see how it turns out. I don't think it's going to be close to a new damage record or anything, sadly. So there's that right there. But what did we get? So we got 34.5, which, yeah, that's like a full, it's like a full billion short of what we were using with the other one. The other one I was considering using too is trying to see how Tidecall spell goes. Anytime I have Ulsa on a team who is spamming her ultimate, I wonder how Tidecall works, because remember, Tidecall is going to be giving us that additional bonus 25% damage every time for 4 seconds after the wave hits the boss, which is not that bad, actually. It's quite often, and again, it's usually the synergy with Ulsa that is really making this kind of work. So figuring out the right artifact to use can sometimes be tricky. A lot of people are just going to copy what's on the top of the leaderboard, but that's not always the case. And again, I really like this artifact. It just seems like a really awesome synergy here. Honestly, I feel like compared to like the Song of Strife season, I kind of like these artifacts better. They feel like there's more of them that are useful in certain situations, whereas before it was like, yeah, man, I mean, you use the evocation spell, you use the old artifacts from the non-season or something like that. Let's see what happens here. 8 seconds left. I don't think we're going to get to 40 or 35-4. It's going to be close. Again, it's within about 700 million, so that one is close as well, but it does not seem like it will take the top spot. Now, that's all cool and great and all, but I have seen one team do even better, like literally the best Orson team possible. And surprisingly enough, it does not have to do with it doesn't even have to do with Riner. So if you have a Festo, this team can work. And this is actually going to be one where we're putting Alsa in the back. We're putting Mikola over here on the side. And surprisingly enough, we're also using Smokey. We're actually kind of wasting some of the tile locations here and where they're like located and stuff. But doing this, I believe with the resonating spell has been the way to go. We're going to try a couple different artifacts though. Let's see if it gets us a personal new record. Might be hard just because the investment we do have in our Taline is very good. And again, at the end of the day, a lot of this also comes down to what you have available on your account. Festo is one of those heroes you might not have. Taline might be one of those heroes you might not have. And so substituting different heroes in will make a huge difference. So let's see. This might be the best endgame setup for the current Endless game mode. I would like to tweak a couple things. I want to try a couple artifacts here too. This one might run a little bit longer than most of our Dream Realm boss videos, just because we do have a ton of attacks here today. And I want to see how this works out. I kind of want to use this team, but with the Tidecall again, because I feel like the Tidecall has potential because we're using so many ultimates. I'm intrigued in why, like the one thing I don't really see is the Smokey here. Okay, 10 seconds left. This feels like a lot of our other attempts here. And again, it might just be because we're not using the best option for artifacts. Yeah, this pretty much lines up with our damage we were doing on our other account here. Our other setup. I almost want to like drop the Smokey for something else. But I want to try Tidecall spell because I feel like because we are spamming a lot of ultimates on this squad right here, it has potential. Because again, that extra 25% damage is really big because we're not getting a bonus 25% from a Riner anymore. So that could be really huge in this fight. Yeah, I don't know the Smokey play. I've seen a lot of people using Smokey, but for me, I just feel like it's not quite there. Because he does this, he gets his blue aura going. I'm hoping that blue aura is actually close enough to do damage. Don't necessarily know if it is, and that might be part of the issue. Because right here, yeah, he gets completely knocked out. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing it for the faction bonus here. But I almost feel like just throwing the Riner in still would be a better play than the Smokey. We don't need the healing or anything. Riner would be an extra 25% damage. 10 seconds. Yeah, we're about at the same point here too with the Tidecall, so I don't know if that's the play whatsoever. But again, it's still not even peaking with what we had previously. I just know there are people out there that have been using the Festo very well. And again, it might just come down to the investment on my account versus their accounts too. What I do want to try is throwing the Riner back in with the same exact team. So we're going to do something like this. Put Lily May in the back just so she gets that boost right there. Oh, that kind of, oh man, that kind of breaks what we want to do. Can't do that because we need that to be on you. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. This might be good. It might not be good. We gotta see. Honestly, I think what I need to do is move my placement down to the bottom here. Because then maybe if they're down the bottom, Smokey might not get pushed back. Because I think you only get pushed back in the center. Let's watch. Yeah. So that might be the big difference here, is we need to take this team and shove it down to the right side, because that big cleave only hits like the center tiles, I think. Granted, this Riner strategy might work better. We'll see. I don't know. It could be really, really awesome. You see the support hero just getting their butt kicked all the way to the corner. We can try that out, though. We can definitely see if this would be a better type setup, pushing it to the very bottom. That way, Smokey doesn't get knocked back. He doesn't get interrupted. His healing stays constant, which keeps his attack bonus aura buffed up. But right here, this damage is looking really good. 15 seconds, and we're almost there to our previous record, using the Festo instead of the Tailene. That is interesting. That's actually a much better score with the Festo than the Tailene. That's like over 2 billion more damage. Still not putting us super at the top, but definitely something to be had here, and that's interesting. So let's do one more hit. Let's go back. Let's take away the Riner. Let's go back to the Smokey. What we're going to do is we're going to be shifting everything down one tile to this type of formation. So let's see how this goes. If we pay attention and see what Smokey is doing at this point, he shouldn't get knocked back anymore. He should be in a safe spot where he's not getting pushed back to the back of the battlefield, and that might let his Mythic plus Aura do more damage. So let's see. We're going to have a hit right here. Yep, that's actually perfect. Putting him down in this bottom right slot keeps him protected, and maybe that's what a lot of people are doing with the Smokey, is they're putting him down in that far right spot, because now his aura right here is hitting everybody, and the best part about it is you have to have that aura going for people to get the attack buff. If the aura is not going, they're not getting the attack buff, and holy cow, this thing is pumping some damage now. So really, really awesome. We're at the 30-second mark, and this thing is ridiculously good damage. We're about to break our previous record 23 seconds ago. If you guys are not using this Festo team, woo, you can see here there's a huge difference in total damage. This thing is going to get disgusting, up to 41 billion on our account, and we're not even like the best of the best accounts. We have a lot of less value. What does that take us to? Number 1 on the leaderboard. So if you guys are not using this team, I need to save this right here as a preset. Holy cow, this team is killer. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you got these heroes, definitely use them. Make sure you do that positioning properly, and I'll see you guys next time.